fought between the loyalist forces of King Daeron II Targaryen and the rebel forces of his half-brother Daemon I Blackfyre. Conflict arose when Daemon, a bastard son of the late King Aegon IV Targaryen, claimed the throne of his older, true-born brother King Daeron II Targaryen, which resulted in open civil war that divided the Seven Kingdoms. After King Baelor I Targaryen made peace with Dorne, he returned to King's Landing and annulled his marriage to his eldest sister Dana. He then locked Dana with his other sisters, Rhaena and Elena, in the Maiden Vault, so they could not tempt the lusts of men. However, Dana contrived to escape her imprisonment on several occasions, and towards the end of her brother's reign became pregnant by her cousin, Prince Aegon. In late 170 AC, she gave birth to a bastard son, who she named Daemon Waters. Dana refused to reveal the identity of the father of her child, though Aegon was already suspected to have been involved. Baelor I, in response to Daemon's birth, began a 40-day fast, which eventually caused his death in 171 AC. After the claims of Dana and her sisters were dismissed, Dana's uncle was crowned as King Viserys II Targaryen. Viserys only ruled for a year until his own death, after which his eldest son, King Aegon IV Targaryen, ascended the Iron Throne in 172 AC. In 182 AC, Aegon knighted his bastard son, Daemon Waters, after the boy won a squire's tourney at the age of 12. Aegon publicly bestowed Blackfyre, one of the Valyrian steel swords of House Targaryen, on Daemon as well, finally acknowledging him. There were some who felt that the sword symbolized the monarchy, as it had been the sword of King Aegon I Targaryen the Conqueror, and had been passed down from king to king ever since. Aegon's public gift of the sword eventually started talk that Daemon should be king. Following this acquisition of the sword, Daemon took the name Blackfyre for himself. Daeron II. In early 184 AC, King Aegon IV legitimized all of his bastard sons on his deathbed. Prince Daeron ascended the throne as King Daeron II Targaryen and did all he could to keep the nobly born close. He paid the dowry his late father had promised. Daeron was a cultured and scholarly man and swept the court clear of Aegon the Unworthy's corruption, depriving several people of their advantageous positions. Daeron placed men of his own in the positions of power and began negotiations with his brother-in-law, Meryn Martell, the Prince of Dorne, which resulted in the wedding of Meryn to Daeron's younger sister, Princess Daenerys, in 187 AC, and the joining of Dorne into the Seven Kingdoms. However, dissatisfaction grew from the fact that Dorne had won several concessions during Meryn's negotiations that the other regions did not have. For example, the right to keep their royal title, autonomy to maintain their own laws, and the right to assess and gather the taxes due to the Iron Throne with only irregular oversight from the Red Keep. Additionally, it was the belief that the Dornish held too much power at court, as many Dornishmen were brought to Daeron's court, and several filled important offices. While Daeron had chosen to be crowned with his father's crown, rumors about his legitimacy remained. He was not a warrior, and while Prince Baelor, his eldest son, by his wife Myra, was all that could be desired in a warrior, Baelor had the looks of a Martell and not, like Daemon Blackfyre, of a Targaryen. Nobles and knights from the Dornish marches began to mistrust both Daeron and Baelor, and began to long for the days when Dornish were still their enemies. Meanwhile, Daemon had grown into a great warrior of his own, trained by Sir Quentin Ball, and had come to resemble Aegon the Conqueror in appearance according to his supporters, with silver gold hair and deep purple eyes. Married to Rohan of Tyrosh, in 184 his twin sons Aegon and Aemon were born later that same year. 5 other sons and at least 2 daughters followed during the years to come. Daemon's supporters claimed that Daemon had desired his half-sister Princess Daenerys, and the singers claimed that she loved him as well. It is said that Aegon, who had seen much more profit in the match with Tyrosh, had promised Daemon that he could have more than one bride. Daeron, however, did not agree, and has never been proven that Princess Daenerys ever loved him, as the singers and his supporters claimed. The first Blackfyre rebellion finally broke out in 196 AC. It lasted on a year and divided the Seven Kingdoms. Daemon's decision to claim the throne had been made rashly, and word soon reached Daeron's court that Daemon meant to declare within a month. It had been suggested by Archmaester Marion that Brendan Rivers, one of Aegon IV's bastard sons, was involved in the news reaching Daeron. The Kingsguard was sent to arrest Daemon, but with the aid of the Master-at-Arms of the Red Keep, Quentin Ball, Daemon managed to escape imprisonment. He reversed the colors of House Targaryen, taking for his own sigil a black dragon on a red field, which led to his nickname, the Black Dragon. It is said that half the realm declared for Daemon, though this may be an exaggeration, as none of the great houses did, and not all houses pledged their full support. Notably, Houses Hightower, Butterwell, Oakhart, and Tarbeck gave support to both Daemon and Daeron, while others, Manfred Lawston, were willing to betray Daemon for Daeron. Most of Daemon Blackfyre's core supporters were concentrated in the Reach and the Stormlands, primarily among the border lords with strong anti-Martell sentiment who resented the new peace with Dorne. Daemon did manage to openly control enough territory that at some point he began minting his own coinage. At some point, the thief Quickfinger attempted to steal dragon eggs for Daemon, but was caught. Over the course of the war, battles were fought between the rebels and loyalists in, amongst other places, the Vale, the Westerlands, the Riverlands, and the Reach. Sir Quentin Ball, known as Fireball, attacked the Westerlands, killing Lord Lefford at the gates of Lannisport, and then defeating Lord Daemon Lannister in turn. At the crossing of the Mander, Sir Quentin slew all of Lady Penrose's sons except for the youngest, whom he spared as a favor to the lady. Lord Leo Tyrell participated in the first Blackfyre rebellion as well, fighting on behalf of House Targaryen. He won notable victories in the Reach against Daemon Blackfyre's supporters. During the war, King Daeron II came to consider his Hand of the King, Lord Ambrose Butterwell, to be ineffectual, and in the end, his loyalty was questioned. Shortly before the Battle of Redgrass Field, the final battle of the war, Butterwell was replaced by Lord Hayford, a noted loyalist. On the eve of the Battle of the Redgrass Field, key Blackfyre general Quentin Ball was slain in a chance encounter, picked off by a random archer when he stopped for a drink of water. Meanwhile, Lord Bracken had gone across the narrow sea to hire sellswords to reinforce the Blackfyres, but storms delayed the return of him and the Myrish crossbowmen he had hired. The final conflict of the first Blackfyre rebellion was the Battle of Redgrass Field in late 196 AC, as Daemon's rebel army approached King's Landing itself. Lord Leo Tyrell's forces could not gather quickly enough to arrive in time for the battle. House Arryn did participate, as Lord Donald Arryn led the vanguard of the Targaryen forces. However, Daemon Blackfyre shattered his lines, leaving the Loyalists in peril until Sir Gawain Corbray of the Kingsguard arrived with reinforcements. Sir Gawain and Daemon Blackfyre came face to face during the battle. Their duel, in which Daemon wielded the Valyrian steel sword Blackfyre and Gawain the Valyrian steel sword Lady Forlorn, is said to have lasted nearly an hour before Daemon gained the upper hand. Corbray was wounded, but Daemon dismounted, preventing Corbray from being trampled, and commanded that he was taken off the field. In the meantime, Brynden Rivers, with his archers, the Raven's Teeth, had captured and assumed a position atop the Weeping Ridge, which overlooked the battlefield and allowed them to rain arrows down among Daemon and his commanders. Daemon's heir Aegon died first, followed by Daemon himself. When Daemon's second son, Aegon's twin brother Aemon, took up Blackfyre, he was then slain as well. The rebels began to rout, but Aegar Rivers claimed Blackfyre and rallied the rebels by leading a charge against the Raven's Teeth. In the ensuing duel, Aegar took out Brendan's eye. However, Prince Baelor arrived with a host of Dornish spearmen and Stormlanders, while his younger brother Prince Maekar rallied what remained of the van. As such, Baelor crushed the rebel army against Maekar's shield wall, which was later called the Hammer and the Anvil. The size of the armies participating in the battle is not known. However, 10,000 men died, and many more were wounded. While the state of the rebellion across all of Westeros is unknown, many widely believe that the fate of the realm hung in the balance at Redgrass Field. And had Daemon won that battle, he would have probably have gone on to take King's Landing and win the entire war. The king's punishment of the rebels was harsher than had been previously expected. Those who had supported Damon lost lands, titles, or wealth, and all were forced to give hostages. Lord Gorman Peake lost 2 of his 3 castles for his support of Damon's cause, while Sir Eustace Osprey, whose 3 sons Edwin, Harold, and Adam had died upon the Redgrass field, had to give up his daughter Alisanne as a hostage, and lost a great amount of land to House Weber. The first Blackfyre rebellion, left its mark upon Westeros for years to come. Asking a man whether he had fought for the Black Dragon or the Red was considered a dangerous question. Agar Rivers was able to recover the sword Blackfyre from the battlefield and escape to the Free Cities, together with Damon's widow and remaining children, eventually ended up in Tyrosh. In exile, Damon's descendants continued their struggle for the throne, resulting in 4 more rebellions, the Second, Third, and Fourth Blackfyre Rebellion, and the War of the Ninepenny Kings, as well as one peaceful attempt during the Great Council of 233 AC. These attempts led to the arrest of Damon's second son, Damon, and the deaths of his third and fifth sons, Hagon and Aenys, as well as the death of his grandson, also named Damon. Damon's last male descendant, Maelys, was slain during the War of the Ninepenny Kings by Sir Barristan Selmy, ending the Blackfyre threat. Here are the houses who supported the Loyalist or the Targaryen supporters: House Arryn, House Caswell, House Darry, House Hayford, House Lannister, Lefford, House Lawston, House Martell, House Penrose, House Targaryen, House Tyrell, and House Weber. Here are the houses who supported the rebels or the Blackfyre supporters: House Ambrose, House Ball, House Blackfyre, House Bracken, House Costain, House Osprey, House Peake, House Rain, and House Sutherland and Ronwood. And there are also a few houses who supported both sides, such as House Hightower, House Oakhart, House Tarbeck, and House Butterwell. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button.